Hi, I'm Mike Harrell, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about sort of a short version of talking to the parts of yourself. Uh, this has never been done on Earth. It's never been taught, but it's a very, very powerful and effective process. The first thing to do is to not try to just jump into talking to the parts of the self right off the bat. You need to have some kind of a history of doing the other parts of the work. You need to do some good quality emotion release work, which I talk to about in Finding Your Lion Heart. You need to do at least a month of the empowerments. I'm empowering myself with strong and loving intent to heal my will. Will you help me? And I want to live. Will you help me? I want to be fulfilled. Will you help me? You need to do these things to build up a track record of your intent to heal. So when you talk to your parts, they believe you. Okay, and then judgment and denial release. So that's really hard for a lot of people, and maybe I'll go into do another video on how to find your judgments and denials. But today we're going to talk about talking to the parts of self, and it's a very simple process. The idea behind it is you have these four parts. We have these four parts. Spirit is up here. Heart is in this region here. And your will is down here in this area. This is where your trivagal nerve is, and the energy that goes from your head goes through your heart into your belly and then out to your whole body. So it's really, and then your whole body is your whole, everything that's not spirit, heart, will, it's spirit, heart, and will. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is just say hello. So you gather the energy in your imagination. This is very much like an imagination, like talking to yourself. You gather the energy of your spirit, and you hold it in your hands in front of you, and you say, "Hello, Spirit. How are you doing?" And Spirit will say, "I'm fine. Thanks for doing this. It needs to be done." And you go, "Okay." Shoot. Then you do the same thing with heart. You just feel the energy of your heart, and you pull it out, and you say, "Hello, heart. How are you doing? So happy to say hello to you," or whatever you want to say. It's just a hello, and heart will say, "Hello, Michael. It's good to talk to you again," so on. Okay? Then your will, which is your deep feminine, your emotional body, which is down here in your belly, you pull that out. Say, "Hello, Will. How are you doing?" And Will says, "I'm doing okay. I'm glad we're doing this." Put it back. And then body, who is the container of all this, is your home and your feeling instrument. "Hello, body. How are you doing?" "I'm doing fine. I'm glad we're doing this. This is an important thing to do." And you put it back. That's pretty simple. It's just like saying hello to your family, your inner family. So then you move on to your first agreement, and your first agreement is the empowerment. And you say, "Spirit, I'm empowering myself with a strong and loving intent to heal my will. Will you help me?" The Spirit will say yes or no or whatever, but let your spirit say what it says. So my spirit says yes. And then you say, "I want to live. Will you help me?" Spirit will say, "Yes." "I want to be fulfilled. Will you help me?" Yes. That's Spirit. That's an agreement. That is sort of like to set the stage for the rest of what you're going to do. And you pull out your heart energy, your heart essence, and you say, I'm empowering myself with a strong and loving intent to heal my will. Will you help me? Yes. I want to live. Will you help me? Yes. I want to be fulfilled. Will you help me? Yes. Put that back. Then, hello, my beautiful will. I'm empowering myself with a strong and loving intent to heal my will. Will you help me? To heal you. Will you help me? Yes, yes. 100 times yes. I want to live. Will you help me? Yes. I want to be fulfilled. Will you help me? Yes. Thank you. Put that back. And take your body. Pull out all your body essence into your hands. You're talking to your body. Say, hello, body. I'm empowering myself with a strong and loving intent to heal my will. Will you help me? Yes. This is good. I want to live. Will you help me? Yes. Yes. I want to be fulfilled. Will you help me? Yes. These are your agreements. This is like an agreement, and it's based on the empowerments. This way you know that when you're saying your empowerments, you can say it from your spirit, from your heart, from your will, from your body. When you're saying it 10,000 times, and you're building an immaculate intent to heal so that everything in your life becomes a healing event instead of a wounding event. You want an immaculate intent to heal. So this is like a big deal, and you can say it. And if you're doing a lot of your empowerments, make sure you say them to each of your body, to each parts of yourself every day. This is so strong. Okay, that's the first kind of agreement. The second agreement is sort of like a relationship agreement, and so you say, I'm creating an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. Will you help me? So you say to Spirit, hello, Spirit. I want to create an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. Will you help me? Yes. Put your spirit back. Heart. Hello, heart. I want to create an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. Will you help me? Yes. Heart. And then to your will. Hello, will. I want to create an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. Will you help me? Yes. Yes, I will. And then body. Pull all the energy of your body together. Hello, body. I want to create an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. Will you help me? Yes. These are the agreements, the empowerment and building an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. It's just like this is your parts of your internal family. They are you, and they are also your internal family. They can be the mother and the father and the child and the house, the uncle, or they can be any kind of representations of your inner family, however you want to see them. Your brothers and sisters, it can be that. They can be your mentor, they can be your equals, however you want to see your internal, but you don't want any conflict. You don't want to have a big boss and a little slaves. You know, that's not what you want. You want an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation, because you're going to live with your parts from birth to death, and that the energy of their consciousness is going to go from has already gone from lifetime to lifetime. Okay, and this brings us to all the things that you did that happened to you in your life that you were unconscious for, or that you were engaged in, or that you were responsible for. You can apologize for. First, before we go to reconciliation, is some interesting facts. You're talking to your subconscious mind, and one of the big things about psychology is to make your subconscious conscious. And this is what you're doing. You're making your subconscious conscious. Like I said, it's never been done before. Here's some things about the subconscious mind. It records everything. Everything you ever said, did, felt, everything that happened to you, everything that you carry with you, your baggage, it feels everything, right? It records everything. It's always alert and awake, 24 hours a day. Your parts, when you're asleep, your parts are doing their thing, and your body and your mind might be asleep, but they're awake and control all the time, because they're connected to your higher self as well. Okay, and your subconscious controls 95% of your life. Okay, and that's done by habituation. It's by doing what you do, what your habits are. Yeah. So what we're doing is changing the habits from being unconscious to being conscious, from being subconscious to being relatable, from being disconnected to connecting. So you're changing that habit. That changes everything. Okay. Your subconscious normally doesn't have a language, so it speaks to you in dreams. It speaks to you in feelings. Well, now you have an access to that, and you can let them use your voice and speak. It's so powerful, so amazing, and so loving. You know what I mean? Imagine if you had a friend, a brother or sister who never spoke, ever. And the only thing you could do is try to feel them through a closed door. Well, this changes that. Now your internal parts can speak. Very powerful, okay? The other thing is they take everything literally. If you say, I'm not good enough, and in your mind it's not that big of a deal, but every judgment that you have, every judgment and every denial that you have, they take it literally. If you feel like, I want to die, they take that literally, If you say the world is a hard place, they take that literally, and then your body responds. So how you speak, what you say is really important. That's why you want to create an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. Okay, the whole point of Language Lessons of the Heart is to teach your spirit, heart, will, and body how to do the work. How to find denials, how to do judgment release, how to do emotion release, and how this whole thing works. You want to teach them. You're to be the teacher. You're the mentor. And once they get it, once they really get what's going on, then they can take over. Eventually, they will take over, because you've been in the habit of doing emotion release, the habit of doing judgment and denial release, the habit of, talking to the parts of yourself, and having that dialogue, the habit of self-forgiveness, and then they take over. And this is what you want. You don't want to have to be doing process work for the rest of your life. You don't want to have to be gated and guarded about what you think and say. You don't want to have to clear out every single word that you've ever spoken in your whole life. You want them to do it for you, and this is why you want cooperation, an internal atmosphere of love and cooperation. They are not logical. Don't expect them to be logical. They are a feeling. They are your feelings, the feeling self, which is where your energy is. So when you do emotion release, it pulls up your energy, and you get more power and then more consciousness. They're like a million times more conscious than and more powerful than your conscious mind. So to interface your conscious mind to them is kind of a big deal. And don't forget that your spirit has a higher self, which you could call God. Your heart has a higher self, which you could call the Son of God, and your will down here has a higher self, which is the mother of everything, which is the Mother Earth. You're actually healing Mother Earth when you do emotional release, and then when you do judgment and denial release. You're actually healing Mother Earth and the mother of everything in creation. And your body is form. So the form of judgments and denial release and emotional release and all these processes. the empowerments. The form is very important, because once you build that form, you're actually building a reality, and that's why you stick with the form of the empowerments, the form of emotional release, the form of talking to parts of self, this form of judgment and denial release. You get those forms written sort of in stone, and it creates your protection and your evolution. So that's some interesting facts on that. Now we're going to go to like I was saying, everything is recorded by them and everything is felt by them. Everything that you've repressed, every judgment, like I don't deserve love, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not smart enough, or I could never do this, and every limitation that you've had, and everything you've suppressed, and everything you have felt and haven't felt, everything you wanted to do and you haven't been able to do, they manifest for you and they feel it for you first. And inner child work, they are your inner child. They're aspects of your inner child. So that brings us to reconciliation and forgiveness. And you can do that with Ho'onoponopono. So you pull out your spirit and you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And your spirit doesn't necessarily have to say anything else, like it's okay or anything. It may not. Allow them to speak if they want. And you can just keep saying it. If you have any issues, any pressure, any feelings, any sensations in your body, just keep saying it. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, And then you put that back, say it to your heart. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And it's as much, you can say that you can't overdo this, because like I just said, you've got this whole lifetime of regrets, or a lifetime of failures, a lifetime of feelings. It's a lot of forgiveness and a lot of reconciliation. And then you say it to your will, which is your deep feeling feminine. I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you for all you've done. And so if you're into Ho'onoponopono, you don't just say it once, you say it over and over. You can say it to your body. Hello, body. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. And say it with as much feeling as you can, and as much meaning and as much implications as you can. This really helps. And then, so if you don't want to feel like doing Ho'onoponopono, like I said, we have all the things that happened to us, right? We were abused and had adverse experiences in our childhood. That is recorded, right? And then that's the original pain. But then we review that pain daily. I'm a victim. Life is hard. Mom and dad did this, and I was neglected, and I was abused, and I was, and I was told no so many times, right? And from the time that you were, say, 7, 8, or 10, and now you're adult, as long as you keep that victim mode going, then you are the perpetrator. You are the one who keeps that going, because you have reached out to the past and are holding that pain, the original pain. So it shifts over from the mom and the dad, or the bullies, or the brother or sister who are the perpetrators, and then you become the perpetrator, because you're perpetrating, you're habituating that feeling of misery, of lack, of fear, of sadness, of grief. You're perpetuating that, sometimes for decades. That's a lot to forgive. So you can just go straight to forgiveness, and you can ask for forgiveness for everything. So you pull out your spirit. Can you forgive me for all the things that I've done? For all the things that I've felt, please forgive me for that. I did not know, I wasn't clear about it. I didn't know how to heal. I was just in that, I was wounded. And Spirit goes, it's okay, I forgive you, Heart, please forgive me for everything, for that stuff that happened in my childhood, and from me carrying it around and worrying so much and feeling guilty and ashamed. Can you forgive me for that? And heart goes, yes, I can forgive you. Yeah? And Will, my beautiful Will, please forgive me for all the suffering that I've put you through, for not knowing how to heal, and all the pain and suffering that you've had to endure, and you feeling my feelings for me. Please forgive me. I love you. And Will says, I love you back. It's okay. See? Body, please forgive me for all the abuse that I've given you, for all the hard work and all the bad food and all the alcohol and different kind of things that I've done in my life. Please forgive me for not taking better care of you. You know, and thank you for being so strong and healthy as you are. See? So that's, you can just make a big deal out of it. You can do this every time you talk to the parts of self. You can go into your forgiveness, and you can make up stuff to forgive, because it doesn't matter. Like they're not based on reality. They're based on feeling. So you can say, forgive me for the white line painted on the road. You can forgive me for duck feathers, or forgive me for Donald Trump, or whatever. You see, whatever you can ask for forgiveness for, it's just such a powerful thing to them, because they're the ones who are holding on to the abuse, holding on to the guilt, holding on to the shame. You ask for forgiveness, and it's that release, right? And it doesn't matter what it is. You want that release, for them to not have to hold on to that guilt or the shame or the anger or the resentment or the fear anymore, right? You just ask for forgiveness over and over again. Find different ways of saying it, to different times, different things to say. This is very, very powerful. Okay, that's the reconciliation, forgiveness. Those are two different kind of flavors for it. The next thing you can do is trust building. Trust building is to do what you say you're going to do. You know, if you say if your parts want to go to the park and you can't go to the park, you have to work that out. Spirit, look, I can't go to the park today. How about if we go on Saturday? And I have work to do, and we all have to do that. Spirit says, okay, we'll just go on Saturday, make sure. And you do the same thing with heart. I know everybody wanted to go to the park today, but we can't. I have work to do. You know, is it okay if we go on Saturday? And it's heart, yes. So you get the yes from everybody, and then make damn sure you go to the park to the park on Saturday, and build trust. So that, remember, they were seeing you as the perpetrator. Even though they knew that your parents or your bullies or whatever happened to you in your life was the perpetrator, and you're the victim, but you kept that victim thing going, so you're the perpetrator of the victimhood. So they're looking at you like, are you gonna flip the switch and go back into this suppression, repression, and feeling bad all the time? See? So you do things to build trust. Like, for example, if you want to eat a really nice Italian dinner, right? And then they all want to eat an Italian dinner. So you make sure that you get that Italian dinner, and make sure that everybody enjoys it and everybody gets what they want. This builds trust. The other thing is, going back to what I first said about do the work in advance, right? So make sure that you have a history of doing the empowerments, you have a history of doing emotion release, and you have a history of doing judgment denial release. This lets them build trust. So when you say, would you help me in whatever, they see your habit, and they can trust that you're going to keep doing that habit. So that opens up their trust to you. This is a big deal, because these are parts of yourself that you have been denied and haven't been talked to and haven't been loved and haven't been accepted and haven't been acknowledged for a long time. So and sometimes they hold a grudge. Like, why should I talk to you? You're the one who's been saying all these bad things and making me forcing me to feel guilt and shame and regrets and resentments. You're the one who's making us feel all this bad stuff. See, so they may not want to even talk to you. So that's when you want to build trust. Do things that you can build trust, build some enjoyment, build a lasting relationship with them. Okay, the next thing is inner conflict resolutions. You can say, you can ask, when you ask them what's going on with you and what's happening, and your spirit might be wanting to do something. I've got to do more work and make more money, and heart says, we got to go do something else. So I want to love, I want to dance, I want to sing. And Will's saying, I can't stand all this pressure and anxiety. So then you see you have an internal atmosphere of conflict. So then you work it out. You pull out your Will and say, Will, what are your needs? And Will says, I need a break, I need a rest. It's too much stress. And heart, what are your needs? I need to sing and enjoy myself and relax. And you work that, kind of get those needs and agreements made, and then you put them together and resolve your inner conflict, whatever the inner conflict is. I love the woman or I love the man, but they're hurting me. So you say, who's being hurt, right? And what are your needs, and what are your needs? What is the body's needs, yeah, for this relationship, and what is heart's, and what saying. And then you can resolve those conflicts between love or the boss or whatever it is, or the food. If you have an addiction, you work out these conflicts. Oh, I need a drink, and find out who needs the drink and what's the cause of pain. These are resolving inner conflicts. And makes you congruent. In the end, you want to be congruent. And congruent means your body, your will, your heart, and your spirit are all kind of much going on the same track. That you're congruent. It's not your heart going this way and your will going that way and your head going this way. That's incongruent. Okay? Now we get to inner parts therapy. Inner parts therapy, where you are the therapist. And you can ask, Spirit, how has it been being my spirit? How has it been growing up with me? Or you can say, what was it like when our parents got divorced? Or to see my parents drinking all the time? Yeah? And the spirit will say, it was kind of in shock. I thought, this is the kind of world that I'm living in, and it goes on and on. You can do the same thing with heart. What was it like watching my parents drink or get a divorce? And you ask them what that felt like and what they understood about that, and and the same thing with your will and your body. What was it like, and what was the feeling? Or what was the main message that you got, Spirit, growing up? And the Spirit will say, I'm not good enough, and then what was your main message, heart, growing up? And I'm not worthy. And you see, saying you can resolve these by doing by being the therapist. You can resolve the inner conflicts, and it's actually you're doing therapy, right? Inner child work. So this is inner child work. It's also Gestalt therapy. It's transactional analysis. Like, what was the transaction? What was the flow of going on? It's relationship therapy, like the relationship between man and woman. The first relationship you want is here. So this is relationship therapy. Family therapy. This is your inner family. You see what I'm saying? You do therapy on your parts and solve all these issues and resolve the conflicts and get rid of the old pain. What happened to you, body? What happened to you? When your heart was broken. Heart. Will, what happened to you when your heart was broken that time with that person? And, heart, what happened? And find out what's going on. Okay, so inner parts therapy. You can do this a lot. You can also play, sing and dance, that's also when you make an agreement with them. It's like let's sing, and you put on some music and you sing and dance. That's also, you can sing from your heart, sing from your spirit, sing from your will, sing from your body, dance. This is all very good stuff, as long as it's the idea is the connection. Okay, and then last, and this is just sort of like a simple overview, because it's as complicated as life and as deep and rich as life. It's about finding your judgments and denials. All the judgments and denials are laws, right? I'm not good enough is a law to them. They are literally manifest that you're not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or there is no love for me, or whatever those judgments and denials are, or I can't get what I want, see? So finding your judgments and denials of the spirit, of the heart, of the will, and the body. And you can ask him, what is it you can't do? What is it that you're restricted from doing? What is it that makes you feel guilty? So whatever makes you feel guilty, that's a judgment. Whatever you can't do, I can't start a new business because I'm not smart enough. Well, the judgment is I'm not smart enough. I can't start a new relationship because because I'm not a lovable person. Well, I'm not a lovable person is the judgment that's holding you back, you see? So you can ask each one of them what's holding us back, and what is it you can't do, you see? And you find your judgments, the repeating patterns. I end up with the wild women who are crazy, or I end up with a narcissist man every time, and that's a result. So when that's a result, there has to be a judgment that says, you deserve a narcissist, or you deserve an insane woman, a crazy lady, yeah? Or all I can get is a crazy woman, or all I deserve is you see, and you can find your judgments and denials and release them, because everything that's written in stone as a judgment or a denial in your parts is what manifests. This is direct access to your karma, direct access to the results you get in life. So you look at the results of life and said, how do we end up alone? How do we end up so hurt? How did I end up so lost and empty? You ask them, and then you find the judgments, and then you do the judgment and denial release. This is so important, because every judgment and denial that you find is a liberation, right? Is a liberation. Every time you release one is a liberation, right? So it's not that you're not good enough. Maybe you were not good enough when you were 7, but you're good enough now. So you need to have that release process, and to do that, you can ask your parts what's holding them back, what they see, what they felt. So it's a very, very powerful process. That's why I say language lessons, the hardest, most thorough, eloquent, and precise modality in the world. And all you have to do is practice. All you have to do is habituate. Make it your habit to do these things. You can do something every day. And talking to the parts of the self, you can do, whenever you can, either every day, once a week, twice a week, or whenever something comes up. Okay, I'm trying to keep this as short as I can, but this is a big topic, and it is your life. It is the most important topic. For example, any of these conflicts that create stress, any of the things that you have to be guarded and hurt by, right? This gets down into your body, and you create the chemicals that make you either sick or healthy. Okay, so this is life or death. Adding 10 years onto your life. You do the process work, you add 10 years onto your life. And if you had a lot of trauma, you can add 20 years onto your life. This is pretty much science now. There's the ACEs study. They did a lot of work on this. How much longer if you have inner conflicts and inner episodes of trauma in your life is shortened, and your life is more miserable, and your opportunities are more miserable. So this is, in some ways, it's like a big deal. So even though it's simple and you're just talking to the parts of self, it is a big deal. So take it seriously. That's why I teach it as the last the last process, because you have to have that history of doing some of the work so that you can build up trust. All right, thank you guys. I love you all, and do all 4 of the processes and get the results that you want, because this is just the opposite of the way you got wounded, is you get healed.